How good is this Robbie Keane card? Today I'm going to answer that question by heading into Div Rivals with this team and then offering my review with pros and cons, my recommendations as to how to play with the card, and some alternate players at different price points that you might want to try if you like him. To start things off, let's look at the card. He's 5'9" and double 4-star, a decent start for a striker. Unfortunately, that is his only position, but looking at his in-game stats, they are really good. Solid pace, great shooting stats, passing on the weak side, but that's standard for a striker. Dribbling stats are really good, and physicals are okay. He has finesse shot, trivela, technical dribble, and chip shot plus. I'll show you each of those in game. And he's also got advanced forward plus. And this card will take you about 350,000 coins. It's a lot at the start of the year, but let's get into the clips. And we start things off with Robbie Keane's pace. As many of you will have found on this game, you can't really break away from defenders that well. Even if you have a lot of pace, they will catch you up. But some faster players can benefit from the LB speed boost. And in these clips here, you will see me trying to play him through in behind and utilize that pace. Depending on what role you give him, you can utilize him by playing in behind the last man. And he will run on to the end of it. And he does have pace off the ball in order to reach those through balls. He also has okay strength and aggression for someone of this size and stature. And so he can hold off some weaker fullbacks, but he will struggle against big, bulky centre-backs, for example, Araujo and Saliba. If we move on to his shooting, then this is where things start to get interesting with Robbie Keane, because I tried a variety of finishes with this card. He does have a 4-star weak foot, and he did manage to score goals on both feet. The striking power and accuracy was actually quite comparable across both feet. And he does have 3 different shooting playstyles, so I did give each of these a good go. Finesse shots, you can expect the standard. They aren't as good this year unless you have finesse shot plus and you green time it. So he will have okay strikes within the box, but outside the box I didn't really get much success. Trivelas this year, if you have the playstyle, are really good. And so you can see some clips here. I did score some nice trivelas with Robbie Keane. And that was one of the more reliable ways to score, especially if you're going through one-on-one with the keeper. Trivelas seem really good with this card. However, I did try out chip shots because he does have chip shot plus as a playstyle, and they seem hopeless this year. Unless the goalkeeper is actively charging out at you, chip shots are pointless. If you put 3 bars of power on it, it will chip it straight into the goalkeeper's hand. If you put full 4 bars of power on it, he'll put it over the top of the bar. So unless you can hit a very, very specific sweet spot, even with the plus playstyle, there's no point in utilizing that, which sadly means that his playstyle plus is a bit wasted when it could have gone on finesse or trivela, which would have given him a lot more goal scoring opportunities. If we move on to the passing of Keane, then some of his stats are okay, but his long passing stat is really not incredible. However, saying that, he did play through a fair few nice passes when I did play with him, but you cannot rely on him to be able to ping either first-time passes or slightly misangled passes. If you're using someone that has tiki-taka plus, long ball pass plus, then it doesn't matter really the angle as much. Whereas with Robbie Keane, unless you are looking straight at where you are passing, this guy is not hitting that long ball. If you want to do little 1-2s in and around the area, maybe if you're using him in a 2-striker formation, then he's okay at that because he has good enough vision and short passing to do that. The curve is also really good as well, so it does help with those trivelas and finesses. We move on to the dribbling with this card, and this is an interesting segment because at times he felt really, really good. Either doing LB or L1 dribbling or double trigger dribbling, he actually did manage to create some nice space for himself. His skill moves, he does have 4-star. Sometimes they feel okay and they can be quite tight, but at other times, because he doesn't quite have the insane levels of dribbling or 5-star skills, they can feel a little bit loose. He didn't feel like a guy that I would rely on to do skill moves in and around the box. However, there are some skills this year that are really good. For example, the LB McGeady spin, is fantastic with anyone that can do it. But in other scenarios, we were just able to utilize his dribbling stats, try and do the LB speed boost, but obviously without those quick step and rapid play styles, he can't quite get as far away utilizing that as a lot of other players, especially wingers, can. So I would trust in his dribbling ability in order to try and create himself a little bit of space. However, I wouldn't expect to be going on mazy runs with him. Even with base technical dribble, that doesn't seem very good this year, even with someone with his dribbling stats that are pushing into the 90s. It feels like you need technical plus and 95 plus dribbling. Otherwise, it does not feel like it did last year. So don't rely on it. You can do normal F-stick dribbling, you can do LB or double trigger dribbling, and that will work for you. So with all those clips, this is the overall conclusion. In terms of the pros of this card, he can burst away from defenders when you are playing him in behind, but not necessarily so when dribbling. He is relatively both-footed, and I didn't have issues on his 4-star weak foot. He has pulled off some impressive passes, but you can't rely on him for it all the time. And his dribbling did feel smooth, and he does have 4-star skills with some decent play styles. But the cons of this card, I found that, like with the vast majority of players this year, you can't outsprint defenders over long distances, especially if they are lengthy. His playstyle plus is useless. Chip shot plus this year is not very good at this moment in time, and so it is a bit of a waste. He obviously lacks 5-star skills or weak foot, and he doesn't have crazy strength or aggression, which combined with his 5'9" height means he can get bullied by the bigger centre-backs. He is also quite expensive at this point of the year, but I'll give him an 8.5 out of 10 for this stage of the year, and I'll give him a 7 out of 10 for value, because he did score a good amount of goals, but he didn't quite feel elite. In terms of my recommendations, I think I'd probably go with an engine on this card, because his shooting stats are already good enough. They don't need buffing at this stage of the game, whereas his passing is not very good. His dribbling, you get really, really nice boosts with an engine, and you get that extra little bit in your pace department as well. So it helps with him bursting past defenders and also utilizing that tight dribbling in close, tight areas. Also, his passing does get a little bit better, which is going to help you in and around the box when you're trying to involve him in build-up play. In terms of the play style and the way to utilize this card, I would definitely say running in behind as the last man. You don't want to be getting him dragged in to the build-up. You want to be playing over the top through balls or curved through balls, and hopefully he can get in that space behind the defender, get one-on-one with the goalkeeper, bang a trivela or a finesse. He has both of those play styles, and he will be reliable in front of goal. You can rely on his dribbling, but don't try and skill past an entire team, and also don't expect him to be able to sort of be involved in a physical battle against the bigger centre-backs and other defensive midfielders that are going to get involved in and around his position. And normally we would do some good, strong links to this card that are club links or nation and league, but obviously he's a hero, so you can basically do whatever you want in the Premier League with him, or try and utilise the fact that he's Irish. They're not very good at this stage of the game, though. As we go forward and you get some special cards for the Irish players, it might be a bit different. And then finally, we have some alternate player prices. So these are players that I think play similarly to Robbie Keane, and that you can pick them up depending on your budget. So we start off with Diogo Jota as the budget option. He's coming in at around 10,000 coins. He's 4-star, 5-star, and he's basically a slightly worse version of Keane. Similar in the way that he plays and his stature and everything like that, but you're just not going to feel him be at that elite level. We move on up to Sam Kerr, who's coming in at over 100,000 coins, but still comfortably below Keane's price. She is very, very good. A little bit harder to link, but her stats are phenomenal, and she plays very similarly to Keane in terms of being able to get in behind that last defender and bang in the goals. And then the big boy version that you could go for if you have loads of coins, for someone that is smaller, not that physical, but has really good dribbling, shooting and pace, can also pass a ball though, because you are bumping up to that next tier. Di Natale is that guy. However, he is coming in at 1.6 million coins. So let me know your thoughts on this style of review. Do you want more? And if so, who? Let me know in the comments. I really, really enjoy doing these videos and trying out new cards, and I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.